Well, we're experiencing American Marxism, aren't we? A couple of things here, Sean. Number one, Woodward and Costa are reporters for the Washington Post. It takes 2.5 to 3 months to print a book. That means Woodward and Costa and the Washington Post, if this is true, sat on this story for months and months. Why would two reporters sit on a story like this for months and months and allow this man, who I believe, if this is true, is utterly unhinged, to serve as the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? You have two so-called journalists who sat on this for 2 or 3 months. A news story. They're journalists. I'm not. Why would they do something like that? You know why, Sean? This is what Woodward does. They drop this before the Sunday, before his books are released. They get everybody worked up and stirred up. Maybe they should be, maybe they shouldn't. He'll be on all the Sunday shows. So he and Costa, two so-called reporters, can make millions of dollars off this book. And what does this book do? It's certainly in the front end. It attempts to trash President Trump. Let's take a look very briefly at this. So people should boycott this book. People should not reward these people at all for their conduct as so-called journalists. Journalism is corrupt and it's dead in this country. But let's look at the story. First of all, it says in the middle of the story, Peril, the author, says, based on interviews with more than 200 people conducted on the condition they not be named as sources. Who the hell writes a book with 200 anonymous sources? 200? Well, we have the tapes. We have the notes. Yeah, but we don't. The American people, this is our country. Don't we get to make a judgment about these things? It's not about Woodward, Costa, and the Washington Post. What kind of a news organization is this? And if this did happen, it's big news. I've spent my life studying and defending the Constitution of the United States. You have here Mark Milley, not once but twice, before the election and after, contacts the head of the communist military in China, our number one enemy. And the first time he does it, it's based on he's concerned China's worried our military exercises in the South China Sea, deepened by Trump's belligerent rhetoric toward China. So he calls China around the back of the commander-in-chief and tells them, don't worry about him. I have him under control, pretty much. What? And then after the election, he calls and he says, quote, General Lee, you and I have known each other for now 5 years. If we're going to attack, I'm going to call you ahead of time. It's not going to be a surprise. If the United States military, just theoretically, is going to attack China, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff knows every step of it, he's going to tell the enemy? If that's true, this SOB needs to be out of there as fast as possible, without a debate. What else does he do? He basically, according to this article, if it's true, he tells his subordinate officers basically to take an oath of loyalty to him. What else does he do? He conspires with the head of the CIA who's worried about a right-wing coup. All this talk about right-wing coups. Russia collusion, criminal investigations of a sitting president, 2 impeachments, one of a sitting president, one of the ex-president when he's left office, going after tax returns, trying to destroy. We know what a coup looks like. We sat through it for the last 5 years. And what else? The head of the Joint Chiefs is collaborating with the head of the opposition party, Pelosi and Schumer. So he's collaborated, according to this story, with the communist Chinese military, with the head of the Democrats in the House, with the head of the Democrats in the Senate. He's got subordinate generals and others who he, according to this story, gets allegiances from them. And the 2 reporters on the story sit on this for months and months and months so they can make a buck on a book. Wouldn't it have been good to know about Milley before what happened in Afghanistan so his ass could have been kicked out of office? So we could get a general in there, like a George S. Patton type, who wouldn't leave American citizens in enemy territory, who wouldn't leave patriotic Afghans in enemy territory, who are being hunted down and killed as I speak, with $85 billion of our equipment. General Milley, probably the worst general we've ever had. If this story is true, and if the story is false, my God, General Milley, you're going to own the Washington Post. Why don't you come out and tell the American people everything? And America, boycott these 2 journalists, boycott their book. They shouldn't make millions of dollars sitting on a story, if true, that we the people had a right to know, that the military had a right to know before Afghanistan. a pock on all their houses. And let's be clear, yes, they were, all of them, after President Donald Trump. It's the most disgusting thing I've seen in my life. From the intelligence agencies to the Defense Department, to the FBI, to the Democrats, to the media. How sickening. You want to see a coup? There were your attempted coups. I'm done.
American Marxism, bookstores everywhere, Amazon.com. Mark Show, Life, Liberty, Levin. Every Sunday right here at Fox, 8 p.m. You don't ever want to miss. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.